Now at 5, a local food truck operator talks about handling the intense heat while working. Plus, how children in Joplin can start receiving free meals for the rest of the summer. And
the Biden campaign says the president will absolutely not drop out of the race for the White House. I'm Skyler Henry in Washington as he looks to try to tamp down concerns among Democrats after last week's debate performance.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We have dangerous heat and the possibility for severe weather on the 4th of July. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Let's go straight to meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for our first look at the weather.
Well, we've got pretty hot temperatures, 97 degrees out in Joplin right now, and we've got wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. But temperature is 97, however, it feels like it's in the triple digits. We've got pretty humid conditions out there, so it feels like it's 111 in Veneta, 115 in Newada. Pretty hot out there, everybody. We've got a heat advisory still in effect until 9 p.m. tonight for all of our counties, so today is an alert day due to the heat. Now, as we move through the rest of the week, we've got storms moving in tonight. Those chances continue for the next several days. We've actually got a low risk today, low to elevated risk tomorrow, and an elevated risk on the 4th of July. We'll talk all about that in just a bit.
See you soon. Summer weather is creating even hotter kitchens and food trucks. Food truck workers at Ghetto Tacos in Joplin say the heat is manageable as long as it's being pushed out by split air conditioning units. The co-owner says they originally worked from a tent instead of a food truck. Now, 7 years later, Ghetto Tacos has a fleet of trucks and even a brick and mortar restaurant in Webb City with proper air conditioning.
But it was really hot, and now looking back, it's like, man, it was all worth it.
Ghetto Tacos was featured on the Food Network TV show Best Bite in Town in April. Joplin Public Schools are offering free summer meal services at the Joplin Public Library every day through August 13th. Their goal is to help kids in need avoid food insecurity during the summer when students don't have access to daily school lunch. They'll be serving lunches such as sandwiches and chips. Students must be 18 or under, though they do not have to attend a Joplin school to qualify for the free meal.
The last day of school might be their last meal that they receive for a while because of the absence of school lunch. So that's why we partner with the library to come here. We partner with Joplin Family Y as well.
Lunches at the Joplin Public Library will be served from 11 a.m. to 11:30 or while supplies last. A new report shows traffic fatalities have increased by 25% nationwide over the past 10 years. But over the past 2 years, fatalities have dropped by 5%. In this area, Arkansas has seen the biggest drop in fatalities, down 12% from 2021 to 2023. In Oklahoma, they're down 9% over those 2 years. In Kansas, fatalities are down 8%, and in Missouri, just 2%. The transportation research group TRIP highlights some efforts to reduce crashes, including educating drivers about dangerous habits, making vehicles safer, and improving roadway designs. President Biden is looking to assure party leaders he's fit to continue his re-election campaign. Questions from elected Democrats and voters are rising following the president's debate against former President Trump last week. Skyler Henry has the latest on the efforts from the campaign to tamp down concerns among Democrats.
The White House says President Biden is fit to do the job.
He knows how to do the job, not because he says it, because his record proves it.
Administration officials say despite what they call his bad performance during last week's debate, his legislative record speaks for itself.
He understands that he's not a young man, obviously. He said this. But his focus is going to continue to deliver for the American people.
Though Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett became the first Democratic lawmaker to call on the president to step aside Tuesday. Writing in part, he's hopeful that Biden will make the painful and difficult decision to withdraw. On Monday, President Biden once again tried to rebound, calling out the Supreme Court for ruling that presidents enjoy broad immunity for official acts while in office.
It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation.
The ruling is likely delaying any trial that former President Trump would face until after the November election.
What Judge Chutkan is going to do is go one by one after they brief the issue for her and hear arguments, and she's going to make a decision.
Following the Supreme Court's decision, the judge who presided over the so-called New York hush money trial agreed to postpone Trump's sentencing until September 18th, 2 days before early voting begins in several states. Trump's attorneys also want his 34-count conviction in the trial to be thrown out. Meanwhile, top Democrats continue to close ranks around Biden, but admit there are concerns within the party.
Is this an episode or is this a condition? And so when people ask that question, it's completely legitimate of both candidates.
The president now plans to meet with Democratic governors himself Wednesday to shore up support for his re-election bid. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden's going to sit down for his first televised interview since the debate this Friday with ABC. Former President Donald Trump's legal team is asking for his criminal conviction in the New York hush money case to be overturned, citing the Supreme Court's landmark decision on presidential immunity for official acts. The High Court rejected Trump's claims that he was absolutely immune from prosecution for his actions around January 6th and sent the case back to a lower court to determine which acts can still be criminally prosecuted. Common cold could impact your child's risk of getting COVID. That's just ahead. And a few safety tips before you fire up the grill for the holiday. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, those pesky common colds might have helped protect children from COVID-19. Researchers at Yale School of Medicine analyzed nasal swabs taken during the pandemic and found many children were infected with other respiratory pathogens. They found those frequent infections might have boosted their immune systems, protecting them against the worst effects of COVID. If you're firing up the grill this 4th of July, hold your hot dogs. The CDC says rates of foodborne illnesses increase in the summer months. Michael George has some tips to keep your cookout safe.
It's a sound we love to hear, that sizzle on the grill. But no one wants a holiday cookout to end with someone getting sick. The CDC estimates there are about 48 million cases of foodborne illnesses in the U.S. every year, with 128,000 hospitalizations and 3,000 deaths.
During the summer months, rates of foodborne illness increases.
USDA food safety specialist Kenneth King says there are ways to prevent that from happening, starting with properly cooking meat and poultry.
The only way to know your meat and poultry is fully cooked is by using a food thermometer to measure its internal temperature.
Experts also say to thaw meat or poultry first, marinate in the refrigerator, keep raw meat and poultry separate from other foods, and keep the smoker and grill at a safe temperature.
For grills, you can do 300 degrees as well.
Always start with a clean grate, getting rid of any built-up grease and burnt food. One of the biggest factors in foodborne illness is simply the heat. Above 90 degrees, food that's left out can spoil faster and potentially make you sick.
We have a rule: keep your hot foods hot and your cold foods cold.
Use a slow cooker or chafing dish to keep things warm, and put salads or cold foods on an ice tray.
Please keep an eye on that ice to make sure you're switching it out as the ice melts.
Tips to keep your 4th of July safe and delicious. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Signs of foodborne illness include cramps, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. If you suspect you're ill, you should see a doctor immediately. Specific physical exercise can combat nerve damage during chemotherapy. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine involving 158 cancer patients found those who performed sensorimotor training alongside chemotherapy reduced nerve damage by as much as 70%. They also increased their perceived quality of life. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a new court ruling opens the door for a student loan repayment plan from the Biden administration to move forward.
And we've got storms in the forecast all the way through the 4th of July. We'll talk about it right after the break. Well, it was a pretty hot day today. We had an alert day set due to heat indices getting into the triple digits, but let's go ahead and take a look outside at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Not a cloud in sight just yet, but we do have some clouds moving in a little bit later, as well as storms. We've got some storms potentially moving into the area, hopefully cooling us down because this heat advisory continues until 9 p.m. tonight. We've got heat indices, like I said, getting up to 115 degrees in the area. So it's been pretty hot and pretty muggy today. Now, we've got cold front pushing through. It's not really going to drop those temperatures quite drastically yet, but we do see a bit of relief as we move into tomorrow. Now, storms are still moving into Wichita. I got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings on it, and we've got a couple of severe thunderstorm watches just outside of our main viewing area. Now, as these storms do move in, they are going to break apart, so we're really not too concerned about them. But main threats are going to be strong damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour and low-end severe hail as well. But we're going to keep an eye on it and keep tracking it as well. But our main focus is going to be the next couple of days. So we've got a low threat today, low to elevated risk tomorrow, and on the 4th of July, we've got an elevated risk for all of our counties. So we're really expecting some more storms to continue to fire up today and through the rest of the week. We've got a couple of these storms pushing in. As they move in, they do break apart. Like I said, we'll have some widespread showers in those northern counties, but that's just for the overnight hours. You may not even realize anything's going on. If you're asleep, we may not even see any thunder or lightning as well. Now, as the storms continue to move in, we do have isolated thunderstorm chances into Wednesday morning and possibly even reaching through the afternoon hours. We'll have a break, but then more thunderstorms continue. Now, we move into the afternoon, more rain starts to push into the area. We'll have more widespread thunderstorm chances and isolated as well. That'll continue all the way through Wednesday evening, and then we move into Thursday as well. So we'll have a break in the morning hours on Thursday before we do see another chance of rain. So Thursday morning, got that rain shower, and then moving into the afternoon, we've got isolated shower chances starting around 2 p.m. But what we're really concerned about is going to be in the afternoon, evening time, 7, 8 p.m. We've got some heavier rain pushing in, some isolated thunderstorms as well. And again, we're still a couple days out, so this may change, but that's what we're really focused on. That'll continue until 8 p.m., 11 p.m., and then we have more showers starting to push back into the Joplin Metro all the way through early Friday morning. After that, that is another cold front moving through on Thursday. After that, we do cool off down to 86 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, and we are free of storm chances for the weekend until they start to kick back up Sunday all the way through midweek next week.
People are going to be keeping a close eye on that as that forecast evolves and is fine-tuned a bit and see how it might affect those fireworks displays on Thursday.
Yeah. You know, I start to notice almost every 4th of July, there are storm chances.
It seems that way.
Isn't it?
You're right. Yeah. Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, when severe weather does strike, you're going to want to stay informed, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. You can do it right now. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page where our weather team will live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Migrating gray whales have been putting on a show in Northern California over the last few years, and now scientists are trying to learn more about their behavior. Researchers at the Marine Mammal Center in San Francisco have been taking and reviewing thousands of photographs as a way to catalog gray whales that come into San Francisco Bay in search of food. Over the years, some have washed up on beaches dying of starvation or injuries from ships. Scientists say the grays seem to start their long migration from the Arctic underfed and often run out of fuel as they try to return.
That's something that they didn't really do much of prior to 2018. But we're seeing them become really flexible in these behaviors in order to survive and thrive in today's oceans.
Researchers have recently seen a decline in gray whale deaths. They say it's a sign the whales are learning to adapt their behaviors to survive the changing conditions. Coming up, how the Biden administration is cracking down on junk fees from airlines. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a federal appeals court will allow a central part of President Biden's student debt repayment plan to move forward. It lowers from 10 to 5% the amount some borrowers who qualify for a repayment plan need to pay. The ruling is temporary, so it's unclear if the financial terms could change in the future. The Supreme Court struck down the Biden administration's original loan program earlier this year. Airlines have been making big money from so-called junk fees, charging for things like extra bags. The Biden administration has been cracking down, and the Department of Transportation says new transparency rules could save passengers more than $500 million a year. Chris Van Cleve spoke with a top executive at Spirit Airlines about a big change there to try to reverse a trend of losing passengers.
When Darryl Plunkett had to change his Spirit flight from Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta, he was worried the ultra-low-cost airline would hit him with a fee.
They were flexible, I actually got a credit back, so I'll give them their kudos on that.
But Spirit, known for its a la carte or pay-for-everything approach to travel, just dropped its change and cancel fees while also upping the weight for checked bags to the industry standard 50 pounds as it looks to win back flyers.
We've been evaluating this for quite some time, so it's not something that we've just decided to do overnight. And quite frankly, it's something that our customers want.
Matt Klein is Spirit's chief commercial officer.
What we've seen over time is less people are actually flying on Spirit. So we believe the changes we're making, it's not just about the individual who's already flying on our aircraft, it's about attracting new customers.
The move comes as bigger airlines are fighting for Spirit's cost-conscious flyers. Its competitor Frontier dropped most change and cancel fees while shifting its focus to bundled services. It also follows the Department of Transportation announcing new regulations aimed at making airline fees more transparent.
Anytime an airline drops those fees altogether, we think that's something consumers will welcome.
Those change and cancel fees generated $150 million for Spirit last year. But Klein is betting dropping them now will help put the airline on a path to profitability.
Everything we're looking to do right now is to make the guest experience more seamless and give flexibility to our guests.
Right now, Spirit and Frontier are fighting. They are fighting to stay in business.
Airline analyst Henry Hartevelt.
They are reacting to the changes that larger airlines have made. They've seen that that could be a reason why people have avoided flying them. And they're saying, okay, let's take away that obstacle.
Is this good for consumers, do you think?
Absolutely, this is good for consumers.
Just as the busiest summer travel season ever hits its peak. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Mechanics for Canadian airline WestJet have agreed to end a strike that canceled travel plans for tens of thousands over a long holiday weekend in Canada. The union is expected to vote on a temporary agreement which was not made public. The strike started Friday night and caused the cancellation of hundreds of flights. Sweden will now allow grandparents to be paid parental leave to take care of their grandchildren for up to 3 months of a child's first year of life. The country allots 16 months of parental leave per child, and some of that can be allocated to grandparents. Sweden was the first nation 50 years ago to introduce paid parental leave for fathers as well as mothers. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at liquefied natural gas plants popping up all across the U.S. as the demand for fuel rises overseas. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on how local food truck workers are handling the intense heat. Plus, the Oklahoma Attorney General gives his thoughts on the authority of the state superintendent to decide the content of school curriculums. And the NEO Golden Norsemen host a basketball camp for local kids. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. It's bad enough to have to deal with the heat, but now we also have to be concerned about the possibility of severe weather on the 4th of July, Lindsay.
You know, it seems to always happen like that. But unfortunately, he's right. We do have storm chances continuing tonight all the way through the 4th of July. We've got scattered chances tomorrow. And then mostly widespread thunderstorm chances as we move into the evening hours on Thursday.
Obviously, we need the rain, but we don't want to spoil the fireworks shows.
Well, hopefully it'll hold off. We have some, celebrations earlier in the day.
We'll see. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.